Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Friday, a Final Takes Friday here on Orange Bloods Live. So pumped to be here with you, Cody. Next week, we're heading into spring football. We have the Austin Elite 11 out at Del Valley this weekend. It's like the season can stop, man, but the football gods keep on giving us stuff to talk about. We have the NFL draft. We have the Big 12 just had their pro days. We have the Texas Pro Day coming up on Tuesday. A whole ton to get to, man. How are you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. It definitely feels like there's been a lull, but there's no lull of content coming out. There's no lull of conversation to be had. But I will tell you what, next week, I know you're going to be at the Texas Pro Day. I'll be at the Miami Pro Day, hopefully. I haven't got my credential yet. I'm supposed to get that today. We got practice starting next week. The UFL starts next week. We're 35 days to the NFL draft. Like, it's just only going to continue to heat up, warm up, and there's more conversations to be had and more topics to talk about. It's a Final Takes Friday. It's fun as hell. I just got the grill cooking. It's warmed up right now. So when we get off the show, I can go out there and grill some burgers up from Texas Beef Traders. It's a beautiful day, man. It's the second day of spring. There's no better time than now to talk to you and talk about Texas football.
All right. So speaking of spring, let's just start our Final Takes. You guys know the rules of Final Takes. We're going to put up some topics. We're going to discuss them. Cody will put up a poll on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please vote in the poll for Alex to win Final Takes as the king of Final Takes for the week. But Cody and I, it feels like we've tied every single week for the last 4 or 5 weeks. So trying to get a dub going into this weekend. I forgot what we were even going to say we were starting with. So I'll just click this one. Thoughts on Mike Elko saying they'll keep playing the spring game until they make the CFP semifinals.
This is like saying, let me think of an analogy here. This is like saying, so Elko saying we're going to keep on playing a spring game until we make the college football semifinal. And we have a reason not to. This is like a little brother telling his mom, well, I'm just going to keep on doing what Big Brother did because it got Big Brother to where he's at.
Yeah, well,
and then I'll change once I get there.
Like, I certainly think
I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to take drugs. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay the course. I'm going to lift weights. I'm going to drink my protein shakes and take my vitamins. And when I get to where Big Brother's at, then I might do something different.
It's sort of like I thought it was just such an odd thing for Mike Elko to say this about Texas A&M, because here's one thing about Elko that I will say that I kind of appreciate about the old fat man.
I kind of like him.
Is that he doesn't pull many punches. You know, he's not. Here's the thing, Steve Sarkisian. I'm not saying that he's a politician or a used car salesman or a snake oil guy or anything like that, but he is diplomatic in the way that he answers things, and he leaves himself. He doesn't always state things as definites, unless it's things that he really knows he's always going to abide by, like talking about his culture, or talking about his offensive philosophy, or the fact that he wants to have speed on the field. It's like those are things that are very definite about what he says. Whenever you ask him, you try and pin him down about what's going to be going on at practice, he kind of weaves and dodges his way through. He doesn't really answer it, right? He gives himself leeway. Whereas I'll never forget after the A&M game watching Mike Elko, and here he was. He had Texas A&M in a spot where they had a home game at home versus Texas, and all they needed to do to get into the dance, dude. Get into the SEC championship game, but also probably the CFP, even with a loss in the SEC championship game, would have been to beat Texas, right? And so you have this fan base that's frothing at the mouth, like you mentioned earlier, the little brother sort of fan base, and they're like, just they were like rabid, like ravenous, frothing, and they lose that football game. And after the game, when he's being asked these questions, he says this stuff like, I forgot the exact quote, like we just got trounced or whatever, and they're like, well, what's the big problem? And he's like, well, we can't defend against, we can't cover, we can't cover, And I just cut kind of my jaw dropped. I'm just like, what? He didn't say we had some miscommunications. We didn't, he just came out and said it. I mean, we all saw, he's like, we have these balls going over our heads the whole game. We can't cover. I don't know why we can't cover. We got to get it figured out. And so basically he gave the media something and the fan base and everything. It's like, all right. Well, you said it. Now I'm going to pin you down on it. And, now if with the way the college football is changing, and it feels like a lot of teams are moving away from a spring game and going towards more of the OTA style stuff. And as maybe you see the benefits of that, or maybe the non-benefits, maybe people will go back to spring games. Maybe it'll be like Dion's going to do, right? With with Belichick or whatever, if they do that, which would be awesome, I think, for fans. Whenever he says something like, maybe if we were going to make it to the CFP semifinals and, he said it wouldn't be this stuff because I'm worried about players getting poached and all the rest of that. We all know that that's not the case. It's like, if people are going to poach your players, they're going to poach your players. It's the same thing Sark said. He said that, for him, it's just a matter of, the fatigue and stuff like that. And for me, if he doesn't make the CFP finals next year and everybody else is not playing a spring game and he decides not to play a spring game, then he's going to say, well, I thought you said you were going to keep playing the spring game. Until you made the semi. It's like he's painted himself into he has this little tick where it feels like he could maybe kind of paints himself into corners with the way he answers these questions. And I'm not saying I think he's a bad dude for it. I like you said, man, I find it kind of endearing about the old fat man. But
you're going to get clipped so hard one of these days about the fat man thing, but I love it.
Why am I going to get clipped? It's the old fat man.
These A&M fans are going to.
He's calling
our coach a fat man.
What else? What are you going to? I mean, he's fat. He truly is. He's one of the fatter coaches in college football, right?
Yeah, he's got to be top. He's definitely top 10.
And it's not just one. It's like, it's like. It's kind of like they said about what? Do you remember what's his name? Do you remember Mangino?
Mangino, man, he was definitely the king of I don't know.
He was, dude, and he was like an awful human. Whenever he got that job in Kansas.
Really? Did something come? I mean, I wasn't in the heat of the Big 12 when he was there.
He would tell kids that he would say some awful things to kids. Say, I'll send you back home to East St. Louis where you're gonna. Yeah, I mean, just all kinds
worse than Jason Brown, Coach JB.
That guy's. I don't know his exact. I don't know his whole exact background. Anyway,
he's the goat,
so it's like it. I think it's interesting that he would say that, and it's so obvious that he would take it from. He just had it in his mind, like there had to be some kind of implicit comparison there to Texas. It's not just Texas that's doing this.
100%.
So, all right, you got a next final take you want to throw up?
All right, here we go. Staying in college, different school. Ron Rivera is the new GM for the California Bears. Last year, their collective gave $1 to $2 million for support. This is a fine hire, but it doesn't do anything. It's also weird. Fine and weird probably go together for this hire.
This shows how like I've only been a fan of college football since I got to college. But I don't know where Ron Rivera went to college.
Cal.
Did he go to Cal? Okay.
Yeah, 1984, his second round pick at Cal. He never coached there. He was always in the NFL for coaching. After he played for the Bears, he ended up coaching for the Bears 5 years later, and he's always been in the NFL since 1997.
Okay.
So now he's going back in the GM role. He was formerly the head coach of the Commanders for 3 years and the Panthers for 8 years. Now he's GM at age 63 for the Cal Bears. He also joins that conference with Andrew Luck, who's a former player, as GM. So the question and the thought here is, in theory, they're doing some of these schools out there are kind of taking the GM role. It seems like a little bit different approach than I would say these other ones that are going after like NFL guys, like in the same conference, which is so weird to say, like Cal, North Carolina, and Stanford, same conference. But they have obviously Lombardi. Nagy goes to Oklahoma. You feel like this NFL thing coming around for like USC. Miami had one with Highsmith. And then you have schools going like, "Oh, like give me an ex NFL head coach or an ex NFL player." And I think
Well,
Andrew Luck's a little
Miami
bit.
hired Miami hired Alonzo Highsmith.
Well, no, he was there and then he left. He went back to the Patriots.
Okay.
He was there for I think a year as the GM, and then he went back to the Patriots.
Why?
I don't know. He's an executive there. He's an executive with the Patriots now. He was the GM in 22 and 23, and then he just left.
Oh, so he wasn't there in 24 for Cam Ward?
No.
Okay. So, I think Ron Rivera is a meathead.
That's kind of the.
I'm not sure that he's a cunning front office. Kind of what is like the guy who gets like a silver tongued, like kind of talk you into stuff kind of guy. I think I would
A fundraiser, a talent evaluate. I mean, probably
is he a rainmaker? I don't see him as being that. I see him as being sort of a player's coach, kind of tough guy. I mean, gosh, man, how many years have we been able to address this guy at the combine, but as a head coach between two different NFL teams? Riverboat Ron. It's like I can't say really what I know about his skillfulness as an evaluator. I'd imagine he's probably good at scouting like linebackers and stuff. He probably knows what he generally looks for in things. I do think he's a leader of men. I know he's a leader of men.
But he's not coaching. He's a GM. Like,
I know. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to I'm trying to talk about the attributes that I know of Ron Rivera. And I'm trying to think of how they could translate to being a college football general manager for a school like Cal that is going to be facing all kinds of different issues moving forward with. They're going to have to face some stuff with like isn't there going to be some kind of realignment with all these old Pac-10 schools? Something, are they all just going to, we're just going to stay where it's like one conference, you got to fly from Pennsylvania to California all the time and Oregon to,
What's the farthest one? Isn't it like Miami to, was it Stanford or Cal? That was the long one. That was like a 2,800 miles, Miami to Cal last year. And Miami, lost? Or did they win last?
I forget even which ones. See, I forget which one of these Pac-12 ones are ACC or which ones are Big Ten or which one's which. It's like none of it makes sense. But aren't they gonna have to do some kind of realignment or something? There's gonna be that's something you're gonna have to talk with players about. It's like it might be hard to recruit there when your kids, your family, if they're local guys. I mean, California's got such a solid recruiting base, though. They should be able to.
Yeah, but I mean, they're recruiting against, as much as people don't like him, like Lincoln Riley, they're recruiting against Big Doe at USC and a proper NFL GM at USC, and funding, and as bad as they've been, they're still able to pull in a top class and top recruits.
And by the time you get up to Northern California, you're really close up there to Oregon when you got like Lanning and Rashad Samples and stuff to deal with. It's pretty hard, man.
You're stuck right in the middle.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. And the total epic recruiting base when I did my recruiting heat map, then that was probably half a decade ago now. But it was a heat map I made of all the the 53-man rosters of every NFL team for that year. I forgot what it was, but I geo mapped on Google Maps every single one of their high schools. and made like a map that, so you can see where the clusters of these guys came from. And it was like Dallas, Houston, LA, Miami, and then just through the whole Southeastern Conference area was like, pretty, it was pretty dense, but not like the epic just spots like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, Northern California is not quite the same as Southern. I'm certainly more impressed with an Andrew Luck hire at Stanford. Younger, not that I.
Smart, super. That's the
But
thing.
that's the
Yeah.
thing.
He's
Just
a guy that can learn. He's a guy that,
noggin on him. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He's not old, crusty, set in his ways.
Yeah.
He's not an old school football guy. I mean, he's a football guy's football guy, but his dad's Oliver Luck. His dad has been not only a college football athletic director, but he has also been I believe he was the commissioner of the XFL for its short stint whenever Eric Galco took it over before he moved on to the Shrine Bowl. So yeah, it does not move the needle for me at all. And I think it's one of these that, probably is, I don't think it's that big a deal. And man, Cal just feels so far out of my stratosphere. I watched so much college football. I can't remember the last time I watched Cal play.
First thing that comes to mind when you think of Cal. To me, it's
Marvin
Marshawn Lynch.
Jones.
I was going to say Marshawn Lynch on the golf cart.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
was yours?
Maybe Marvin Jones. Didn't he go to Cal?
That's a good pull. Good pull.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's a tough scene around there. All right. Next final takes here. How about this? The non-combine participant for Texas Pro Day, and we do not have the list of the Pro Day participants yet, but we can guess who they are. Non-combine participant who have the best showing at Texas Pro Day. So the non-combine participants would be, I think the most notable is Silas Bolden.
Binda.
But Binda will
Bill and Lola.
Pull up a roster, I guess.
Bill and Lola, right?
Lole. I'm sure. I guess Sabea won't work out.
Gavin Holmes
will work out. Binda, Lole. Or any other receipt? No.
Will.
Oh, Juan Davis.
Good. There you go. What about this is a dumb one. This doesn't really matter, but like, do guys like Max Merrill work out?
No, he doesn't. That guy walks around campus in his Birkenstocks, dude. No.
I didn't know. I just know. I'm just asking. I don't know what the.
I kind of. Mo Blackwell.
Okay. So we got Mo Blackwell, Benda, Gavin Holmes, Lole, Bill Norton, Silas, Juan Davis.
I kind of, man, now that we brought up Juan Davis, I kind of think that he would be a guy that could be poised to have a big pro day.
He's run some kind of like 4.7 or something.
Yeah, or maybe he'll jump 40 or something like that. He's got a lot of really explosive traits to him, and you can see him whenever he cracks back down on those zone slice concepts. Whenever he can just hit up those linebackers in the B gap, I think that like that kind of hip explosion, that hip burst, I think we'll be able to see it in some of his jumps. And I think he'll run faster than people expect for a big dude. So I think that Silas Bolden, it'll just be a thing, kind of like a fast guys run fast kind of thing, even if he does blaze some kind of 4.39. But yeah, I think that the guy that maybe stands the most to gain would be Juan Davis.
Do you Silas Bolden 40-yard dash projection?
I mean, if I'd set the over under at 4.4.
4.4 flat.
Yeah, would you take the over under?
I kind of was thinking about going under, but I just honestly checked in with our friend Grok, and he said 4.45, which
Grok can,
feels slow.
Grok can be an idiot.
He
What
can.
what's his reasoning? Is he saying that he knows about a track speed or something, or that it was reported from the opening or something like that?
I can ask him.
Say what's your reasoning for that, Grok? And and don't give me any bluster.
So 4.45, according to the projection, is based on evaluations of his performance as a wide receiver, notably during his time at Oregon State and Texas. He's never recorded an official.
So no, so
4.45 fits his profile of a shifty, agile receiver with good.
no, Grok doesn't know the over under. The over under is sitting there at 4.45. Yeah, do you know what you ought to ask Grok is where to get the best beef in the Austin, Texas area, and what he's going to tell you is to go to Texas Beef Traders. Look, you guys get 10% off whenever you go in there. They're if I were you, I would go in right now. They're open till 8. If you're watching this on your way home and you're driving home on 620, just look for Loman's Crossing right there in Lakeway. Head in there, go grab some beers, man. Go hang out with Darren. Let him show you the shop. They just got a big new shipment in on Wednesday. Not that that's that big a deal because they get a big new shipment in every Wednesday. It's always fresh. It's always delicious. The beef there is always vaccine free. It's antibiotic free. It's steroid free. These animals are fed non-GMO foods. They're grass fed. When their feed is supplemented, it's supplemented by bovine nutritionists that give them non-GMO human grade food. They supplement their feed with things that make them taste better whenever we eat them. Can you believe that? They take mash from bourbon barrels at the distillery next door, and they put them in troughs for them because they do that in the weeks right as they're finishing them, because it gives the fat this distinctive taste, and they really, really, really work hard at their craft. And you haven't had beef like this. It's just as cheap as the grocery store. What are you doing buying beef from Argentina? Who knows what they shoot into those things down there? Texas Beef Traders. TexasBeefTraders.com. They're our great friends. They sell our beef jerky, the Football with Friends, tasty as hell beef jerky. Pick some of that up. Pick up some meat sticks. Pick up some local artisan cheese. Heck, do you know what I buy there? I buy these little cans of like tuna fillets that my wife loves. You never know what you're going to find there. They sell candles that are made of beef tallow. Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com. Get your 10% off. Let them know that you heard about them here. And if you come in this weekend, I'll probably head over there Saturday after I get done covering Elite 11 because I'm out of beef jerky and I need more. Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com. Again, make sure and get your 10% off. All right. Do you want to throw up a final take?
Sure. I'll take one up here. If you're a coach, final take. If you're a coach, you would personally rather have your players watching YouTube on Thursday night.
Sorry. I was putting up that QR code, but we can do it after this final take.
You would rather have your players watching YouTube on Thursday nights than hanging out at local dance clubs. This is a Texas versus Georgia question.
What's the implication with dance clubs versus YouTube?
It's kind of a pseudo joke here. If you're a coach, follow along here. You'd rather have your players watching YouTube on Thursday nights, hanging out, Netflix and chill, YouTube and chill. You'd rather have them doing that than hanging out at a local dance club on Thursday night and, doing what Georgia players have done this week. I'm not going to go into extent, but there's been 2 arrests this week because of driving under the influence situations. So I'm saying if you
they're on a historic run, dude. I'm not sure it's driving. It wasn't one of them just driving too fast.
What? Well, I'm just saying that I don't know. You don't think he was under the influence of anything?
He's under the influence of just cockamamie behavior, dude. These Georgia guys need to get it together. Like he needs to have some. They need to do something with like Scared Straight. Do you remember those shows whenever you were little?
Did you see the other guy?
No,
he drove into an apartment complex.
I'm not laughing about that. Clearly, that's dangerous, and people could if anybody got hurt, I'm sorry. But whenever you just said that, It's just the absurdity of it. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just have to laugh at something that absurd.
Well, it's like I don't even remember what the number is anymore. It's like in the high 20s of driving related incidents
Gosh,
in the last 2 calendar years.
nobody was hurt in the apartment complex
No,
crash.
no, no,
Oh,
no.
oh, all right. Well, geez, golly. Um,
Off the wall. I just wanted to bring that up in a sideways direction.
oh, because you're talking about.
Also,
Because you're talking about. So they were at the dance club, and we at Texas, we have Michael Terry watching this show and quote tweeting it.
yeah, shout out Michael Terry, and then not shout out for the Georgia guys.
Yes, I'd rather have them doing YouTube and chill. Speaking of that, let's put up the Poncho Outdoors QR code here. Cody sporting his Poncho Outdoors stuff there. God, I love Poncho. It's getting to the time. It's getting to the time of season where we're going to start getting to floss the lightweight Western ones. And they sit so well. They got the ventilation flap on the back. You can see that one Colt is wearing. Man, it's just the best shirts for wearing around for this off-season time when you get out for Turks here in a little while, or it's just kind of going around the ranch, filling feeders and keeping those white-tailed deer happy during this time when we have to shoot pigs and exotics. It's the perfect shirt from all that stuff to fishing to wearing to church. My pastor at church needs a poncho sponsorship. I don't know if I've ever seen him not wearing a poncho shirt. Poncho Outdoors, man. I'll leave that up there as far as the QR code. All right. Final takes. Let's see here. Matthew Golden took a top 30 visit to the Texans this week. Better fit, Texans or Cowboys? And so the Texans pick at 25.
Yeah, they're a little further down there. I think
And
they're
then, gosh, I should have it all memorized by now, but I think it's 25.
25, and the Cowboys are 12.
And the Cowboys pick at 12. But we have seen both Daniel Jeremiah and Todd McShay this week, two plugged-in dudes, both mocking Matthew Golden as the wide receiver one, with a pretty big split between where he's going and where the wide receiver two is going in their mocks, which is Ted McMillan, who seems to have dropped a little bit. They both have him going to the Cowboys at 12. We've talked about the fit. We think we think it would be a good fit.
I think it'd be a good fit. Better fit. I think I'd rather see him in the Stephon Diggs role that we just never really got to see come to real fruition last year in Texas, in Houston with the Texans. Get Stroud. I just think God, that offensive line's so bad.
But they have to. Dude, you don't think that they have a plan?
Man, they signed Trent Brown today. They just keep
They did. I didn't.
They just keep adding this stupid. They just keep doing this dumb stuff. That's just like.
Who did they add before though, Cody?
They added.
Was it Cam Robinson?
They added Cam Robinson. They added Trent Brown. They added Laken Tomlinson, and they added Ed Ingram.
Well, is Laken Tomlinson bad now?
He was. So the stat was from Nate Tice a couple weeks ago. Nate Tice had said that they got rid of Kenyon Green, who I believe was like second worst in the NFL last year in pass rush success rate allowed. They replaced Kenyon Green with Ed Ingram, who's number one in most pass rush win rate allowed, and Laken Tomlinson, who was third worst in pass rush win rate allowed. So they got rid of the second worst guy, and they added the first and the third worst guys in pass rush win rate, which is obviously your win rate at getting to the quarterback or causing a hit, hurry, or sack. And then you get Cam Robinson.
Is Cam Robinson going to
probably going to play left? They also got Titus Howard, who
what about Titus Howard? Because they don't have any high hopes for him anymore. Or
probably guard.
Because Blake Fisher
is that right tackle, and you signed Trent Brown.
Okay, so Trent Brown versus Blake Fisher at right, and then they still have. Is Juice Scruggs the center?
He's the right guard. Jarrett Patterson's the center from Notre Dame. I think they're both. That's a Notre Dame guy. Juice Scruggs was Indiana. Titus was Howard University.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
not a good offensive line.
it's horrible. It's like it's better than Seattle, but it's like still horrible.
So what does this have to do with Golden? Just keeping Stroud upright, you're saying? It's
I don't
just
know
like
how we
the
got all the way there, but yeah, the Houston offensive line sucks. But I like the attachment to Stroud and the fact that he can play opposite of Nico and be a guy that's not going to pull in the main coverage. He's got the speed to burn. He fits the prototype of the Stephon Diggs. You brought up before Odell. I've brought up Jordan Addison. Addison's playing the old Diggs role. Diggs and Odell are very similar players. Um, uh, from a receiver standpoint, I think Golden fits in that well. So I think the match makes sense. Does he last to 25? Doesn't feel like it. Would he also work in Dallas? I think so. But Dallas just has so many guys that fit that exact build. Like, and I know it's going to be this is the classic trash man take, but it's like they got Jalen Brooks, they got Ryan Flournoy, they just signed Paris Campbell, they got Jalen Tolbert. Like they got all these dudes that they're the same. They're not the same. They're similar prototypes to that. What you expect from Matthew Golden here. One, I don't know if they do it. Two, it's like
I mean, let's not compare Ryan Flournoy to Golden. Or you
no,
they're
it's not
not
about comparing him to that. It's more about like the group that they have there.
those
Also,
guys you just listed off, man. I'm sorry. Those guys all stink.
dude, that's not even the worst. You know what the worst two guys in the receiving room are? This will give you a flashback. Seth Williams from Auburn
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kelvin Harmon from North Carolina State is on the roster. Futures contract.
You left out Turpin.
Did I? Oh yeah, you're right.
He's a different breed than all the rest of those guys.
And Jalen Cropper from Fresno.
just add on Damon Demas and
I got Jonathan Mingo as well if you want him.
Yeah. Oh, Mingo. He's just like all the worst.
Who's running that research and analytics?
They need Golden, dude. Like, but I can understand what we have like Money B says Cowboys need OL and DL. S Roan 45 saying draft Banks for LT. Move Guyton to right tackle. I think that sure. That's what they should do. Put a star on the side of Kelvin Banks' helmet.
I don't think he gets out of 10. I mean, he's going to be 10th overall, man. If he doesn't go in the top 10, I'm going to lose. Right. I once ate a banana on a show, on a draft show.
I was sitting right next to you
with
the peel on.
With the peel on. This is the exact response I got was Alex with the peel on. Is this your question?
No, this is the thing. So the Bears seem to have solidified their offensive line well through free agency, with the exception of the left tackle, which is Braxton Jones, right? Who could still be fine. He's a good run blocking tackle, but not as good in pass protection. They've done everything that they can to bring in good players. At all the other ones, they have a first round right tackle, right? At pick 10, do you take Ashton Genty or do you finish the OL overhaul for Kalen Williams with Kelvin Banks?
No, you take Kelvin Banks. I still, in my heart of hearts, believe he'll go 4th overall to the Patriots. I talked to our guy Matty Kuhn today for like an hour.
If Shedeur goes at 2, there's no way he's going at 4.
Don't care, man. I'm just saying he should go at 4.
If you're Cody, if you're putting together a mock draft and Shedeur Sanders goes at 2 to Cleveland, there's no way. We can't
make the mock draft after the picks are done.
What?
We can't make a mock after the pick is in.
Well, right. Okay, so what I'm saying is if you make a mock draft sending Kelvin Banks to the Patriots, you will not have Shedeur Sanders going in the first 3 picks. It'll be impossible.
You don't think that Cam Ward could go 1, Shedeur could go 2, Travis Hunter goes to the Giants, and the Patriots take a left tackle?
The Patriots absolutely take Abdul Carter.
But and again, I'm playing this devil's advocate with you for this exact situation because I just talked to a guy that lives up by Boston and listens to all New England radio, and he seems
Matty Keywoom.
He says,
"Is he our latest insider?"
I mean, technically, he says that they're going to do something to help Drake May. It's going to be
It'll
something
take
to
it
assist
it
Drake
it
May. He
it'll set
says
the
that
franchise back 10 years if they don't help Drake
a,
May.
a lot of the belief is that like Vrabel's going to draft a couple of Ohio State Buckeyes. Remember, he worked around that staff last year with some of those players and stuff in his year off. He was close with the Browns, close to Ohio State. And I just wonder, like, there's 16 dudes from the Buckeyes that could get drafted, including 2 D tackles, 2 edge rushers, multiple offensive linemen as well, and linebackers, safeties, all the stuff that the Patriots need from Ohio State. And I just think when you're looking there at 4 versus where you could be in the second round drafting a tackle, I don't think there's any.
Who you taking? I mean, but they're what, like the second round? Who? You're talking about a Josh Simmons angle?
No, I'm saying for the Patriots, if you're looking at where you're at in round 1 versus where you're going to be in round 2 for tackle, Simmons ain't going to make it to you, and Donovan Jackson ain't going to make it to you. You're
Only
looking at
way it
like Josh
happens.
Connerly. Would you rather have Kelvin Banks and then come back and get your edge rusher in the second or third round, or take your edge rusher and then come back and get a Josh Connerly?
I think I'd rather have Abdul Carter and
No, you would not.
Josh Connerly. Yes, than I would
Okay,
have.
and
Than I
what if
would.
Jamar Stewart falls to like 30?
Abdul Carter is the best player in the draft.
Travis Hunter's the best player in the draft.
It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. They're both awesome. Maybe, I guess if Hunter is going to play 100 snaps a game for you, so he's the best player in the draft. But we're talking about just a surefire stud edge rusher. Very, very few paths to failure for this guy.
100%.
And Vrabel's close to Ohio State. He's been watching Penn State too.
Mm-hmm.
He's been seeing the same thing that we've seen.
I'm just saying, like, you got a guy in Drake May. Like, are you willing to go into training camp with?
Well, I don't understand how you're doing this, because we were having the conversation the other day.
You're going to go into training camp with Vidarian Lowe and Josh Connerly at left tackle to protect Drake May's blindside.
Well, I don't. I'm not. I'm not saying.
You of all people.
Why are we getting stuck on Connerly? Why can't we have? I mean, you don't think Simmons will be around there?
0% chance he makes it around 2.
And why aren't we even talking about Morgan Moses?
He's playing right tackle.
Okay. I thought you just said Vidarian Lowe and Connerly
in the competition for left tackle.
Oh, okay.
Kelvin Banks, I believe the flat circle of this draft is turning out to be like Banks.
No, dude, Cody, what the flat circle is going to be is that Shadur Sanders is going to go at 2 to the Browns. And whenever that happens, Travis Hunter, all right. And then what if the Giants take Abdul Carter?
Then Hunter's there at 4. And Hunter's
and then Hunter's a Patriot.
And exactly. And I told you in the other, like on one of our, I don't know, we do so many damn shows, doesn't really matter. But when Mike Bann puts together the draft cheat sheet, or we put it together, whatever happens, it's going to be Banks for me anyway, on my side, my opinion. It's going to be Banks and Hunter. Banks.
Why not Carter?
Miss me with Will Campbell. Miss me with Membu.
Okay, that's fine. You can't say miss me with Abdul Carter.
It's not about miss me with. It's not about. It's just like that. What they need. They need something to assist or protect Drake May, your quarterback.
Okay, but how can you say that whenever we were talking the other day on the Roster Watch show, and I was saying, all right, so now that you've extended you're spending 43% of your cap now if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, and all of this money, everything. It's Joe Burrow, it's T. Higgins, it's Jamar Chase. 43% of your cap. It's the passing game. That's all there is to it. You have to keep Joe Burrow upright.
I already have the answer for your question.
And you said no. You have to take an edge rusher and not an offensive lineman.
Yep. I already have the answer to your question.
How's it different?
It's left tackle versus right guard. I'm talking about protecting the blind side of a future of your 15-year franchise quarterback, your blind side. The Bengals at least have, Orlando Brown, who's overpaid and he's not as good as he once was, but he's there, and there's competency there. Vidarian Lowe's not competency. You need a right guard in Cincinnati, or you go edge rusher. In New England, it's left tackle, which is what you think of the highest paid positions, the most important positions on the field. You think of quarterback, left tackle, edge, and a baller at corner. Like those are like the four things I want. Right? You don't have a left tackle, you're going to get your quarterback killed. Ask Joe Burrow about his first 3 years.
Ask Patrick Mahomes about Orlando Brown.
Well, ask Patrick Mahomes how it was playing with a guard at left tackle.
Okay, what if we took the guard out of it and we said that where did the Bengals pick again? Was it 19?
No, they're 17.
Okay. I mean, with the way people talk about that Will Campbell could slip, I mean, maybe he'll be there, but certainly Josh Simmons will be there. You would take one of these edge rushers over that, even if he was going to be ready to go by camp.
Simmons? If you're the Bengals? I mean, what are you going to do with Orlando Brown?
Hopefully bench him. Well, that stinks.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong, but he's in the dead middle of a 4-year, $64 million contract.
I don't know, man. I don't see any way that Banks look. If Shadur Sanders slips, I think Banks is super live to the Patriots. If Shadur Sanders goes to Cleveland, there's no way, unless New England says Carolina wants to trade up to go get Abdul Carter and they can fall back to 8. Something like that.
That would be the move. That would be fun.
And then they would get Banks. I think they would get Banks at 8.
Yeah. I don't think because the Jets aren't going Banks. They got Olu Fashanu to play left tackle. The Raiders aren't going Banks. They got Colton Miller to play left tackle.
Boy, would that be something.
And the Jags are kind of open.
The Jags are open. I mean, I've just been penciling in Mason Graham.
Yeah.
But they could always go edge. And I mean, we saw the McShay mock had them going Jalen Walker at 5. So it was wild. All right. Let's see. Do you want to throw one up, or do you want me to throw up another?
Let me give you an NFL pseudo question here. Would you rather Ryan Tannehill?
Gosh, I've read the first 2. What is this?
Would you rather Ryan Tannehill, Carson Wentz, or Desmond Ridder as your backup for JJ McCarthy next year? Bring this up because Ryan Tannehill was in communications with the Vikings in the last hour, according to Diana Rossini, I think it was.
How old is Tannehill now?
Tannehill. He's got to be like 34.
Is he still married to his is he still married to his college girlfriend, Lauren Tannehill?
He's going to be 37 in a couple months. Yes.
Gosh, he really outkicked his coverage.
Why is she a top of the line?
Most of these NFL quarterbacks tend to. I would say.
Oh yeah. Carson Wentz is the answer, right? Ooh, we got a quarterback breaking news as well. If you want to talk about that,
we do.
Jameis Winston to the Giants, 2 years, $8 million.
Huh. Whoa.
That's interesting.
Dude,
does that mean that they're out of the rust?
Yeah, I mean, dude. Now
they just show their hand. Are they going Shador? Are they going to trade up for Shador or Cam?
Do you think that bringing Jameis in means that, or it's like we're just going with Jameis?
Well, 2 years, $8 million. I don't think they're going to go with him. I think that they were going to go with him.
2 years, $8 million.
If they were going to go with him, I think it'd be like 1 year. Because what did Justin Fields just get? 1 year, 12.
But then what are the? I guess the Browns can't go back to Jameis. They just let him go. And then if it's a post June 1 thing for Derek Carr, it's not like the Saints can go back to Jameis. The teams don't want Jameis back once they let him go.
Yeah, but
So
he's a great locker room guy, though.
he's gonna give Malik Neighbors 20 targets a game. Picks be damned.
Yeah, but this is going to be a trade up for Shador. They're going to trade up one spot.
And then the
Browns will go
Browns
Carter at
take
3.
what?
Browns go Carter at 3.
Oh God, Garrett and Carter.
Sicko.
But Miles Garrett was saying though, but here's the thing: Miles Garrett was saying that one of the reasons why he was comfortable, he's only comfortable about his new deal because he just got the money that he wanted. But he was saying that he got assurances that there was a plan at quarterback. Do you think that might have had to do with Cousins?
Cousins, Russ, Rodgers, something. I don't know if Rodgers will go there, but Cousins, Russ, Rodgers, I would say. I don't think it's Cousins, but I also thought Russ was going to go to the Giants, and I don't think Russ is going to the Giants after Jameis Winston signs there.
Look, man, as far as the answer to your question, I'll answer it like, oh gosh, who was the offensive coordinator? Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Colts the whole time that Peyton Manning was there, and his whole thing was like, somebody asked him, so like, why don't we ever get the second string quarterback any practice time? And he's like, because if 18 goes down, we're effed, and we don't practice effed. I kind of think this, like, I think if JJ goes down and those are your options, you're just effed. I was like, it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, with that roster, though, that roster's in great shape.
Okay, then I guess I picked the guy who I think coming out I kind of think Ritter just has a trouble picking up playbooks and stuff.
He's kind of like a doppelganger from a physique standpoint.
Of who? Paxton Lynch?
Of JJ. Like he's a running quarter. He's an underrated running quarterback.
I'd go Carson Wentz, I guess.
Same. I mean, that's the answer, right? He's the guy that was behind Patrick Mahomes. He's from North Dakota State. Like he's from right up the street. He's a Minnesota boy. Like he's a big time pheasant hunter. He belonged. Everybody in Minnesota wanted Carson Wentz on day one.
Isn't that crazy? All right. We only have a few more minutes left for a few final takes, and getting close to 300 of you guys, which is actually a lot of concurrent viewers for almost 7 p.m. Central here on a Friday night. So thanks so much to everybody for being here. We know that most of you guys will be tuning in to watch the show on replay, and we can't thank you guys enough. We hope you're having a great weekend, all the rest. But of course, we have to thank Specs for giving us the Specs chat line and having all of our great chatters in here with us.
At Specs, it doesn't cost a lot to turn a good time into a great time, especially if you like saving money. From connoisseur collectors to aficionados of ale, you'll find bubbly bliss at any budget with a Texas-sized selection of world-class wines, rare spirits, craft beers, and more. So when you're getting ready for a good time, Specs is ready to make it great. Because at Specs, the fun starts here.
Shop Specs, low priced, amazing. Here's to you. Cheers to saving.
Cheers to savings indeed. Thanks to Specs, our great sponsors, and certainly a store that I'm at for more than is probably reasonable. That much is for sure. Cody, do you want to maybe do a quick more? I guess we just have a couple minutes for a couple more quick final takes before we get out of here for the weekend. You got any you want to throw up? You want me to throw one up?
You can throw one up. I'm gonna pull up the YouTube and see what the voting is.
All right. Let's see here. Looking back, was it a terrible idea for Jaden Blue to enter the NFL draft in the year of our Lord 2025?
Yeah, man, he's buried. He could come out and improve the 40 at the pro day, but as far as the overall classes, he just feels buried in recognition and name, and he'll get drafted third, fourth round. It probably feels like as a gadgety guy, but in this year of our Lord 2025, man, he's going to be buried. Not to the Keelan Robinson extent, but I think he's going to be buried, and he's really going to have to be perfect off the field, and he's going to really have to take advantage of his opportunities on the field, stay healthy, and things of that nature to really get through this whole thing, because he's guaranteed to go to a backfield with heavy competition.
Even if he goes to a backfield that doesn't have heavy competition, he's probably going to be drafted alongside another stud running back. It's like whenever you look at these guys, it is crazy. And if you guys watch us on Roster Watch, I mean, we're harping on this every single day there for our show, but it's just like, and you're sick of hearing about it. But I mean, outside of just like Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton and Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins and Caleb Johnson from Iowa, it's like you have so many of these guys that just check so many boxes that we look at via their production and their production profiles and their explosiveness, like verifiable explosiveness from the combine, their speed scores, which are adjusted for, their actual size and stuff like that. There are players that some people have ranked. I mean, some people have like Cam Scadaboo, who we just saw go Superman versus Texas at like they're running back 15 in this class. Guys like Dylan Sampson, that like he's hard. It's hard to get him to crack your top 10. And you just saw it's like the whole Tennessee offense ran through him. He's running over like an SEC schedule. We got guys like, I mean, Devin Neal from Kansas that's had 3,000-yard rushing seasons. Now, he didn't run fast and stuff, but you have a hard time getting guys like him and Donovan Edwards and Taj Brooks from Tech into your top 20 in this class. And so does should Jaden Blue be around those guys? Or like, should he be around like Jordan James from Oregon? And like, I mean, we're still going here with like Rocket Sanders and Woody Marks from USC, DJ Giddens.
Taj Brooks from Texas Tech's like the perfect one because he's way down there and he's got the profile to defend himself. Devin Neal, the profile to defend himself. Jaden Blue, no 1,000-yard seasons, late breakout, doesn't weigh 200 pounds. Like, it's a lot working against him.
What do we have? Wait, do we have? Okay. Oh, look at this. Big Chad Gibson. Don't forget, Texas versus LSU basketball coming up at 7:00 on SEC Network. Well, that's a good reminder. It's going to be a great weekend of sports. It's going to be a great weekend of basketball. Hopefully, a great weekend of getting out and enjoying the weather and being with your family and doing some fun stuff. Now, you can email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. You can find us on X at Alex Dunlap NFL, at Cody Carpentier. As usual, man, just 4 things before we get out. We don't bug you during the show. We like to get in, talk football, get out. If you've never watched before, this is just how we do it. But if you could please like the show, just take 1 second, come to YouTube if you're watching this on X. We know most of you watch on X whenever we're rolling live there. But if you're on X, if you just come to the Orange Bloods YouTube and click that you like this show, click that you like a few shows. Do that. Cody knows that I'm a boomer that can't turn off my text messages and text message during the show about signing up for a UFL draft. If you could subscribe to the channel, if you enjoy the show, let your friends know. We're here talking Texas Longhorns, NFL draft, college football, SEC, all year round. Let them know. And if you are watching for the first time and you like the show, come back and watch us again on Monday. We're here every night, 6 to 7 p.m. Cody, do you have a winner?
15 votes. Can't be a tie.
Only 15 of these people voted. There's almost 300 people watching.
I know, man. They're awesome, but they kind of stink. 15 votes, 60%. Alex Dunlap.
King of final takes. I'll take it. At least for the next week. It's a big week coming up next week, guys. Texas Pro Day, Spring Ball, Elite 11 recap. Just one of the biggest weeks there is. So we hope you guys have a great weekend. Get yourselves ready. Get yourself pumped up, man, for a big week to come. All right. Love y'all, man. God bless you. God bless your families. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. All right. All right. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.